Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the podcast. I'm your host. That's right, yours truly, Mike Herrera. And this is a podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. The YouTube is Mike Herrera Video. I'd appreciate it if you press that notification bell, lets you know when a new episode comes out. But in case you're struggling with that, it's every Monday. Every Monday there's a new episode. And most of them are on video these days. So if you really liked a conversation, you can always go back and check it out on the YouTube. But the YouTube's purely supplemental. Thank you so much for subscribing on whatever platform that you listen or watch on. I appreciate it. All right, MxPx.com, always new merch in the store. When you guys go to MxPx.com, whether listening to the band, listening to the music, buying merch from the store, anything like that, watching the YouTube videos on YouTube, that all just helps us. So I appreciate it. Everybody appreciates it. Team MxPx. We're building this summer for sure. We're kind of, in NFL teams, they have a turnover. Well, COVID kind of made things hard for us. So now we're working on building up some of our team members again, which is perfectly fine. I mean, it happens anyway. It's happened over the last 10 years, like 3 or 4 times. So, core team members still in place, but we're always looking for the right people. So thank you for all your support and for helping keeping us on track. Let's get to it. I wanted to do a voicemail episode, and there's a bunch, so I don't know if we'll even get to them all, but let's make this happen. I'm going to try to answer some of your questions. If you guys want to call in, if you haven't done it, you've been thinking about it, the number is 1-360-830-6660. That's a Google voicemail. Call, leave me a message, 3-minute limit. Maybe you want me to talk about a subject. Maybe you want my opinion on something. It could be anything. I'm not going to say I'm the best at relationship advice at all. I put most of that stuff into my songs. But let's get to it. Let's hear some voicemails. And usually, like, when people call in and they ask about business stuff, like booking us or whatever, I'm not the booking agent. I'm not the manager. I don't do that stuff. So that stuff doesn't make it onto the podcast very often, just so you know. If you want to contact MxPx for business, you can contact our management. I appreciate you in that regard. But just anything else, though, and if you want me to talk about management or talk about the business, you can ask questions about it, and I will talk about it. But actual business inquiries, that's not me, son. All right, here we go. Let's go with the first voicemail.
Hey, Mike, this is Will out of Carson City, Nevada, and I was calling because I was just listening to the podcast this morning about the show Severance, and my wife and I just started watching it a couple days ago, and we're like halfway through the season, so no spoilers, but my goodness, it's fantastic. One, it's like Lost. That's one of my first takeaways from it. I'm a huge fan of the show Lost, and the map is one of the things that made me think about the show Lost. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but there's this map. It's kind of long to explain, but anyway, but just the general kind of vibe of it. Also, it reminds me of Westworld as well. The intro has this like piano part that is very reminiscent of Westworld and very similar to that. So fantastic show, and loved you talking about it. And man, if you did like a podcast series on the show, that'd be awesome. Maybe take some calls from voicemail from listeners and chatted about it. It's a fantastic show. Really smart. I'm a huge fan of Adam Scott. Also, if you haven't listened to the You Talking YouTube to Me, I think that's what it's called, podcast with Scott Ackerman and Adam Scott, totally worth listening to. He's hilarious. There's some great quotes in it and all that. So anyway, yeah, love the show. Love listening to your podcast. Love the band. Been a huge fan since back in the 90s and all that, blah, blah, blah. So have a good one, man.
Thanks, Will. Severance, love it, love it. Still, I finally have watched, and I'm sure you have by now, watched the season finale, the first season. There's one season. Was amazing. I won't give any spoilers on any of these shows because if anybody wants to watch Lost or Westworld, Westworld, honestly, I only watched the first season. So Westworld's on HBO, and Severance is on Apple, and what was it? Lost is on. What is it on? I think it's on Amazon. If you can watch it on Amazon, and it's probably on Hulu, and it's probably on whatever it originally was on, which is like probably ABC or something. I'm not sure on that one, but I'm trying to be helpful because a lot of times I want to watch a show and I'm like, I can't find it. I don't know where it is, and I'd rather not get excited about it if it's like impossible to find. But all of those you can find. Westworld's on HBO. I really liked the first season of Westworld. The premise is basically it's an amusement park for adults, and it's basically you can kind of do whatever you want. This particular amusement park is a wild, wild west scenario, and all the characters are all robots. And you can imagine that there's some abuse happening, like a lot of it doesn't matter. You can just kill robots. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but it turns out they kind of have some sort of cognitance. Cognitance. I don't know if I said that right. Sorry. I think you know what I mean. Anyway, they have consciousness. Let's just use that word, and they start remembering little clips of like past lives because they get reborn as the same robot, but just fixed. If they get shot every day, they get like cleaned up and fixed up and put back out there. It's very complicated, so I don't think I'm spoiling anything really. You kind of know that pretty soon, all that stuff. But anyway, Westworld is something that I feel personally. I didn't watch. I watched like maybe one or two of the second season episodes, and it started to make no sense, and it started to not be interesting to me. So I stopped watching it, and that was years ago. But Lost, I started watching. I want to say I started watching when you could get it on Netflix DVDs because I didn't catch it from the very beginning when it was on TV. But back in those DVD Netflix days, you know, I would almost like, I would take DVDs, rip them onto my computer, and then I have like a series to watch on tour. And I would go on tour with like a series on my laptop. Or you can just if you just copy the DVD, then you can just take your own DVD. That was a thing for a while, for sure. But anyway, that was the era I think that I watched Lost in and really enjoyed it from the start. My wife and I both loved that show, and we got to binge watch it for a while. And then I think eventually we came to like the last season where it was like on television. And at first, I didn't really like the ending, the season finale of Lost. Not the season finale, the actual show finale, the series finale, I guess you would call it. But I've talked to friends about it, and it's just like, okay, I guess it's actually not that bad. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not going to say, but I really did enjoy Lost. Severance. Now to Severance. To your question, I would love to do a full couple, like maybe an episode. I don't know if I could. I guess it could be a shorter episode or something. But I could do a podcast per episode for the next season, maybe. I think it's important to do these things while the season is on, or like right when it comes out, because then there's actual interest and there's a little bit more people like listening or watching at the time. But I'd consider it just for fun because I love the show so much. And actually, Tom Chichilla, he was mentioning that because I got him to watch Severance, and it took him a little bit to get into it. It was a little slow. He was really busy. He would like catch it in chunks, but then once he really started watching it, he loved it. But he said it reminded him of Lost as well, and I think there's something to that. The map thing you suggested. I thought that the season finale was a lot like staring into that hatch on Lost and just wondering what's in there. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many questions, and I think there are a lot of parallels as far as like just the intrigue and the fact that you could go almost anywhere with this story. Yeah, I've got ideas. I mean, when it comes to TV, since we're on TV, Ozark was just on the final series finale, done. The whole show's apparently done, and I don't want to spoil anything. No spoiler alerts, but I, I. It's so hard when you're on social media. Like if everybody's watching something like Better Call Saul or something like that, like I just had to like stay away. I don't actually watch Better Call Saul, but it's on my list. It's on my long list or somewhat long list of shows to eventually watch. But the spoiler thing is rough, so I won't spoil anything. But Ozark was a great show. I liked the show in general, but there's something about like a show, and as perfect as Ozark is and was, there's something about a show going too long that I personally can't keep up with. I can't keep my attention span going for one show for like 6 seasons. I just can't. I think 3 seasons is kind of like perfect. I'd love to know what you guys think. What's the perfect amount of seasons for a TV show? And of course, it's got to be a show you love. But there's something about even a show I love, like Ozark, where the last season was really good, but I couldn't appreciate it because there's been so much good. It's like, wow, I wonder if that's how people feel about my music. I hope it's that reason why they can't get into something, because it's too good, too much too good stuff, like now I'm just talking crazy, but I'd love to know your thoughts on, is it hard to is there too much good stuff in the world? There's like so many good TV shows, and there's plenty of bad TV shows that I can't get into, and I feel like I'm wasting my time if I'm watching it. So that's a very real thing. So with that in mind, maybe leave me a voicemail, or you can always write me on the socials, and I'll see it, especially on Facebook, on the Facebook group. It's all in one place always, and I'll see it. Anyway, let's go on to the next one.
Hey, what up? I'm just doing my due diligence here as one of the ladies calling in because you asked me to. And so here I am. My name's Shannon. I have been listening to you guys since about 1996. You guys actually showed up at my house and you filmed a video there. Pretty sure it was Teenage Politics. Almost 99.9% positive it was. Anyways, ever since then, I just started listening to you guys. I've followed you guys around for a very long time, and I told myself I wasn't going to have a plan, and I was just going to think of a question. So let me just think of a question. Okay, I'm starting to think of a question, and I saw that you said in like a clip in your April show that you guys just did, I think it was in Phoenix, and I think you said that you guys are going to be putting out a new album, and we haven't like seen the last of you, and that was just so exciting. You have no idea. So I guess my question would be, what's it going to sound like? Because my new favorite, it's not my new favorite. When it came out, it's Disaster. Love that. Pipe Dreams and Life Goals. Those are like my go-to songs kind of right now. Of course, I'll go back to the acoustic collection. Of course, everything else too. But yeah, I'd really like to know, what is it going to sound like? And when are you going to Seattle? Because I'm around Washington and I'm just waiting. So yeah, That's it. My name's Shannon, and I would love to hear the answer on your podcast. Okay. Bye. Have a good one.
Thanks for calling, Shannon. Thanks for doing your due diligence. I love that. Great question, by the way. A question that, people usually just ask, when's the new album coming out? But what is it going to sound like? And then giving me examples of some of your recent favorites, Pipe Dreams, Disaster. Yeah. Life Goals. That's definitely a vibe. Those songs, those are a vibe. It's going to sound like MxPx. It's going to sound like MxPx, and I've been working on it, writing. I think I mentioned this before, but we were just doing so many songs that we had to rehearse a lot during the pandemic, as far as doing the live streams. Once we started doing Between This World and the Next, I wasn't writing new stuff. I was just cramming, like learning, practicing, trying to learn lyrics of all these old songs that we were doing. And that's my excuse anyway of why the new album's not done yet. But everything takes longer nowadays, doesn't it? But yeah, I'm working on it. And I love those songs that you mentioned. So yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch written. It's just like I feel like I'm not done yet. So still working, still. I know it's going to sound like MxPx. It's going to sound like a skate punk record. It's going to sound like kind of all the things we've done, but honestly, it's going to be better than our last record, overall. Like, that's my goal. I've mentioned it, and now I got to live up to it. So, I don't feel any pressure at all. I feel like the stuff I'm writing, I'm loving, and I think the listeners will love it as well. I think, Shannon, you will love it. We're not going to go crazy. We're not going to go too far outside what you've heard from us. But at the same time, I think it's an extension of what we did with Self-Titled. It'll sound a little different. But I just think it's going to be, just a non-disappointment. That's the best way to describe like a new record from a band that's been around for 30 years. It has to be a non-disappointment. It has to be good. It has to be really good because even the mediocre songs from are sort of, they've got nostalgia attached. They've got memories attached to them. So, our goal is to attach meaning to our new songs and attach a sound that people will love. And I think, and it's a sound that we love. So I really am not worried, no pressure. But that's what we're working on this summer. Still going to be going, and we'll see. But Seattle, I hope we'll play Seattle by the end of the year. We have a lot of plans, but nothing's like solid. It's we're building the base, and making it happen, but nobody sees it yet. So thank you guys for listening. And I know people don't really think about, they don't wake up in the morning and think, when's MxPx coming to Seattle? But I appreciate that you asked, because we will come to Seattle. We're going to we try to play Seattle once a year at least, and sometimes twice a year. But, we haven't played this year yet. So there's your answer. All right, Shannon, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it. And I can't believe I didn't mention this before. Teenage Politics. We shot the video at your house. And it is so interesting that you're like, I think it was Teenage Politics, but I'm not sure. But if we shot a video at your house, it probably was Teenage Politics, because that was the most free-form video, back in those days. We showed up at, I want to say, it was this guy's house. It was, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember his name. Dylan. His name was Dylan. So if you know a guy named Dylan, maybe he was sort of our liaison getting us the house. It was either his house or maybe you're related to Dylan. I'm not sure, Shannon, but that's a trip. So if it's teenage politics, Darren Doan and his whole team shot the video. We did it. It was all kind of in one camera shot. So something cool about teenage politics is there's a shot of the house where they open up and it's us as nerds, and it goes through, and it's like, and when the camera goes through, it's following somebody, and it's following a guy with a hoodie, and that's right. So we had to change out of our nerd clothes, put on jackets, and then be in the kitchen, doing that. So like we had to like run around, and we had to run around and get dressed real quick, and then change our clothes and be part of the other scene. It was really kind of a fun video to make. And then it ended. Of course, this was a separate shot. We set up in the backyard. It really was. It wasn't at the house, but it was near the house. There was this like big dirt field, and we just kind of set up a truck stage and had a makeshift show. It wasn't a real show, but just for the video. Anyway, if that's the video you're talking about, Shannon, call back in. Let me know. Maybe this jogged some memories for you. But I'm pretty sure there was a guy named Dylan. And every now and then he would still like call me like over the years and like, hey, this is Dylan, remember, from Temecula. That's another thing. The house was in Temecula, California, out in the desert. A bunch of desert rats out there. But it was awesome. All right. Next call. Let's get to it.
Hi, Mike. My name is Daniel from Spokane. And I'm curious, I know a big part of MxPx is the support of your families, especially your mom, Mike. And I was just curious if the next time your mom comes on, because Mother's Day is coming up around the time I'm sending you this message, if she could give her top 5 of how to support kids in their dreams, because I feel like, especially from your mom, you had so much support. 2, I'm just curious if you've heard the Wonder Woman theme song from the 1970s. If you would be able to do your version of the bass line with Wonder Woman, and what that would sound like in your version if you want to. Also, who is your favorite singer in Goldfinger? Or a favorite singer that's not technically the main singer of a band. Hey, thanks, Mike. Bye.
Cool. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, Mother's Day was about 2 weeks ago. A few things here. Maybe I will have my mom back on the podcast. I think she was on one time. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have her back on sometime. But, to answer your question, I think she was very supportive of whatever I wanted to do. She helped me when I wanted to buy a bass. She said, "Okay, you earn half the money, and I'll pay for the other half." And so I went and got a $175 PVT 40. That was my first bass, and that was a trip, But that it worked until I got my next bass was a Stingray. So, Ernie Ball Stingray. So it was, I always knew I wanted one of those Ernie Balls pretty early on, but that was technically not my first bass. Anyway, what else? You wanted to know about Wonder Woman? I'll have to check it out. I'm sure I've heard it, but nothing comes to mind. Like I don't know what it sounds like right now. Bob, can you throw that in there? Anyway, by the way, random, before I answer the second singer question, while you were talking, I looked down, I noticed there was 2 ants on just on my notebook here, and I had to like flick them away. So I've been having this weird thing where ants fall from the ceiling. I think they're on the roof they drop off of trees, and then they go up to the top, and they probably climb in like a vent or something, and then there's probably like they find their way, and it just so happens that it's right above here and right above, just 3 feet away. 3 feet away, there's another like pile of ants. Anybody that's watching my stories on Instagram knows a little bit about it, but now I know I'm not crazy. They literally are dropping from the roof, from the ceiling. Any suggestions, people? Let me know. Call in, talk about ants on the voicemail. The number is 360-830-6660. Okay. My favorite singer in Goldfinger, besides John Feldman, I would say John Feldman is my favorite singer, but I guess if we had to pick somebody else, can I pick myself? Because I'm not the lead singer. That's a good question. I mean, let's just go with Moon. My boy Moon. He's been on, the last couple records, playing guitar and singing a little bit. He mostly does backup vocals. Now and again, he'll do like a lead part on a bridge or something, and he's great. So there you go. And other bands, I can't think of any other bands off the top of my head that have a great singer that isn't the lead singer. I know there's so many. You know what comes to mind? The Clash. There's Joe Strummer, and then there's should I stay? Mick Jones. Had a brain fart there. Mick Jones. Mick Jones is a great singer. Although he may not be a great singer, what he does is great. Tom Wisniewski. Tom's got a similar vibe, and I love it. All right, cool question. Let's move on.
Hey, what's going on, Mike? This is Lawrence from Seattle, Washington. I know you're a big burrito guy, hot sauce guy. I just personally started my own hot sauce company called Voyager Hot Sauce. But I got to know what's your top 3 hot sauces that must be on your burritos and why. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
That's I love hot sauce. Julio's is my number 1. There's this other one that I've been using lately called, it's called like Siete. It's so good. It's like an avocado based, but it's not green. It's like Siete. It's really good. Don Wapo, especially if you're in California, it's easier to get, but you can order it online. My buddy Collie Scummy Morrison is, he's got his own flavor of it. It's really great. So Don Wapo hot sauce. Any of those hot sauces, the OG stuff. I think Wee Man has his own. It's really cool what they do, and I love that stuff. Legionnaire Apparel had a habanero hot sauce years ago, and that was amazing. And then I labeled that as the MxPx hot sauce that we had. We only had really a box of it, and I ate most of it myself. And then we got another shipment, and I didn't put it online because I just kept it for myself. So, and I gave it to some friends and stuff like that. Aces Up Hop Zingers is so good. And it's Hop Zingers is a small company in Maryland, USA. So Maryland, Virginia, or Maryland is their own thing. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just all over the place, but it's so good. So all-time favorite, Julio's and Hop Zingers is absolutely one of my all-time favorites. Aces Up, it's so good. And Don Wapo, and then Siete is a brand that I can get here in Texas. I don't think I can get it in Washington, but maybe. I don't know. Man, such good. I'm obsessed with hot sauce, although I can't remember all the names of everything. But Voyager hot sauce, I'm going to have to try that. You're local. You're from Washington, so let me know. Let me know when it's ready. All right. Thanks, Lawrence. A couple more.
Hello, Mr. Mike Herrera. My name is Frantic Missy. I'm also a podcaster. Not as cool as you, obviously, but mostly I talk about, like, hidden history, and sometimes I get into the crazy history involving musicians as well. what I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite conspiracy theory in regards to music? Feel free to discuss any type of music. It doesn't necessarily have to be people that use meth or whatever. I'm just interested to see what other people think. Thanks. This is Frantic Missy. Have a great day. You can just Google me if you want to find my stuff.
Cool. Thanks for calling, Frantic Missy. 2 females in one episode. Can you imagine that? Love it. 2 girls, 1 podcast. All right, I'll shut up. Frantic Missy, thank you. One of my favorite conspiracies, music-wise, I hadn't thought about this in a while, but there's a conspiracy that Paul McCartney died like a long time ago, and they got a replacement because the Beatles were so huge at the time. They were like a cash cow, and so that the new Paul McCartney isn't like actually him, And I think there's a few conspiracies like that along those lines. I can't remember the exact ones, but I mean, one could argue that I don't know, like who else seems like strange, like Britney Spears, maybe, like maybe they got a different Britney Spears in there, and I don't know what I'm trying to say. Madonna, she seems kind of out there. I don't know, different, not the same person she used to be. No, but the Paul McCartney thing, I don't think that's true, honestly. It's the one that's kind of the most like ridiculous. Maybe not the most ridiculous, but I wish I could think of something better. Honestly, I don't really know anything. I just don't know anything. But I'll have to check. Call back. Give us what you think. Like, you should have given us your favorite musical conspiracy, because I would love to hear from you on that. So call me back. All right. Thanks for your call, Missy. Frantic Missy. One more, and then I will bid you all adieu. Thank you so much.
Hi, Mike. Josh from Nebraska here. I was wondering if you could tell us more about the Mountain Dew commercial that MxPx did way back in the day, how that came about, why I can never find a good sounding recording of it, et cetera, whatever you want to say about it. I would love to hear it. Thanks, Mike. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So we did a song for Mountain Dew. It was a ad campaign, straight up. It was, hey, you guys like Mountain Dew, and I got you an opportunity. I don't remember. I wasn't part of the deal or anything. It was just like our manager at the time basically called us and said, hey, can you write a song about Mountain Dew? It needs to be about 30 seconds, or do a minute-long version and then a 30-second long version. And here's some, I don't know if they gave us keywords or not. We've done a few of these, but the one for Mountain Dew was it was the Mountain Dew song, we called it. Where do you wanna go? What do you wanna do? Something like that. What do you wanna drink? Mountain Dew, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and the reason why you don't have a good recording of it is because it was literally just a radio ad. It was a radio ad. So it was a plug for Mountain Dew, and they would play it on radio stations, and we got paid. I don't know how much we got paid at all. I don't know if I ever knew, if I just forgot. It wasn't crazy money, or else we probably would have done a bunch more of those. But yeah, it was fun, because we actually those days I drank Mountain Dew. Like, I was a little skateboarding punk, and I drank Mountain Dew. When I got to Texas, I drank Dr. Pepper, so. But yeah, the reason is just it wasn't never an official song. It was never officially released on anything. It was just only a radio plug. So if you had listened on the radio, you could hear it. That's it. Pretty interesting, because these days, there's plenty of hooky like jingles that are just made for an ad spot. but things are a little different nowadays, I think. I don't know. We did a lot of spec work, and what that means is work for free. So, so like a lot of like commercial directors will do a spec. You'll see all these like social media posts now on Instagram. If you're on TikTok, probably a ton of them there as well. But you'll see a lot of like, I shot a commercial and this is what I did, and it'll be like behind the scenes. Actually, maybe you won't see that. I see that because I follow a lot of, the algorithm knows that I like behind the scenes filming stuff, like video making, filmmaking, movie making, behind the scenes stuff. So like I get a lot of that stuff in my social media feed. So anyway, the point is, on spec is for free. And so a lot of these directors will do a video, and then they'll use that video, that spec video, to show people to get more work, to get non-spec work, paid work. So MxPx, back when we were just like, we were kind of, I think it was, we were on the major label, we were on A&M Records, and we had Bug Music administering our publishing and stuff. And so there was an inkling of like, maybe somebody cares, but they probably didn't. But we thought they did. So we would do these spec songs, these cover songs, these jingles, clips, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, instrumental and a vocal. And we did like at least 3 different things like that I can think of, not counting the Mountain Dew one, that never was released on anything and never got used. But I I still can hear it in my head. This maybe that's a story for another time. But yeah, there's a lot of things I hadn't thought of the Mountain Dew song until you called in. So I appreciate that. It's kind of a fun little thing to do. And you know, of course, we did the Pepsi commercial on the Super Bowl, but we didn't have to do a Pepsi song. We just did our own song, Well Adjusted, and that was inserted into the commercial. So, and for those wondering, we actually did Dave Jordan, that produced the record, he mixed a live version. He did like a different version of the song mix to make it sound more live. Added crowds, added more reverb to things, so it was like more. So like the album version is different than the version you hear on that commercial, and that version does exist somewhere, probably in my vast CD collection. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you. If you want to call in, please do. I definitely could use some more voicemails, more messages from you guys. Pick a topic. Let's go. The number is 1-360-830-6660. All right. Appreciate it. If you miss the number, if you forget later, it's on the show notes. Always just scroll down through the info, and you'll find a phone number, and that's us. So hit me up. All right. Until next time. Peace.